From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the Hourly News Blast. LGBTQ Nation is reporting the Trump administration released a national counterterrorism strategy on Wednesday that newly targets so-called violent secular political groups and domestic ideological movements, including anti-fascist groups such as Antifa, and attacks prompted by so-called transgender ideology. The report ignores the fact that acts of domestic terrorism are committed far more often by right-wing groups and foreign agents than by leftist groups. It's also the administration's latest move in creating justifications to surveil and prosecute LGBTQ+ and allied groups that regularly challenge the president's relentlessly anti-democratic and unconstitutional actions. Sebastian Gorka, the senior director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council, told reporters that the nation is witnessing a resurgence of violent left-wing ideology. The Washington Times reported he's full of shit. He then listed three recent shooters: Aiden Hale, a possible trans individual who killed 3 children and 3 adults in March 2023 shooting at the Covenant School, a private Presbyterian elementary school in Nashville, Tennessee; Robin Westman, someone who was declared trans by the New York Post after killing 2 children and injuring 17 others, including 14 children, during an August 2025 shooting at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, Minnesota; and Tyler Robinson, the alleged assassin accused of the September 2025 slaying of MAGA influencer Charlie Kirk. Robinson was reportedly dating a trans person at the time of Kirk's murder. There is no evidence that any of the above shooters were motivated in any way by trans identities, but right-wingers have nonetheless rushed to conclude just that, even though most mass shootings are conducted by cisgender men. Furthermore, a CNN analyst has pointed out that right-wingers focus on the gender identities of suspected shooters while ignoring the larger issues of mental health, protecting children, fortifying schools, firearm safety reforms, and other topics that contribute much more to such violence. Nevertheless, Gorka told reporters Americans have witnessed politically motivated killings of Christians and conservatives increase, committed by violent left-wing extremists, including the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk by a radical who espoused extremist transgender ideology. We are seeing an ideology that ostensibly began by preaching tolerance being used by specific actors to wage violence against the most innocent little children at Catholic schools and churches. He added, "This is a threat we will take very seriously, whether you are right-wing inspired or left-wing inspired." After Kirk's assassination, the Trump administration quickly blamed the shooting on the radical left even before authorities had identified a suspect, and promised to persecute those who contributed to Kirk's death, including the organizations that fund it and support it. Just last week, the Department of Justice issued a report saying that LGBTQ+ civil rights are anti-Christian and pose a threat to belief organizations. What about Episcopal churches? How does that work out? What about other Christian denominations that are pro-LGBTQ+? How does that work? Oh, no answers from DHS, huh? Laying the groundwork to persecute LGBTQ+ organizations, in February 2025, the Department of Homeland Security eliminated language in internal documents prohibiting the surveillance of individuals or groups based solely on LGBTQ+ identities. However, the administration's focus on leftist and queer threats ignores the very real danger of right-wing extremists, part of a pattern within the White House. A 2024 report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a bipartisan research institution, found that right-wing extremists carried out 152 domestic attacks, killing 112 people over the past decade, compared to 82 deaths from Islamic extremist attacks and 35 attacks and 13 deaths attributed to left-wing extremists. In September 2025, the Justice Department deleted a study from its website that showed right-wing violent extremism was outpacing all other types of domestic terrorism. The Trump administration has cut funding for programs designed to counter violent extremism, specifically those focusing on white supremacist ideology, and recently filed a flimsy lawsuit against the anti-extremist organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Former workers within the Department of Homeland Security have also accused the administration of ignoring their warnings about the rise of domestic right-wing violence. That's a news blast for this hour. The PEP Radio YouTube channel has resumed offering daily news updates between 1 p.m. and 2 a.m. as of today. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you get streaming radio. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.